What is up, everybody? It's your boy Nerdicane. I went to bed last night. I didn't know. I knew I had to get a video out. I haven't been able to go to my comic shop lately, so I didn't really know what I was going to do a video on today. And then, like manna from heaven, it just fell at my feet. I saw, I saw a bleeding, or not bleeding. Sorry, bounding into comics article that basically mixed the words Mark Waid lawsuit and GoFundMe. And I'm like, oh, this is too perfect. Before I even read the article, I sort of knew what this was about. So so basically, yeah, this is to pay. This is either to pay Diversity&Comics or to pay Mark Zaid, so that later after the trial he can pay Diversity&Comics. That's exactly what this is. I'm going to follow the GoFundMe. I'm interested to see exactly how much he makes on this. He might get it. He's asking for 75,000, which is a lot of money for no return. That's a lot you're asking of the fans that he's been castigating for a long time. And there's not a comic book attached to it. There's not you get nothing from it except thanks, and then maybe the joy of knowing that you gave money indirectly to Diversity&Comics. But I went to the site, and Bleeding Cool basically did the fluff piece on it. This is the journalistic equivalent of a fluffer. If you go look that up, yeah, that's basically what they are. What they did with this. Bleeding Cool, and don't go to the website. Bleeding Cool is a garbage website. Bleeding Cool probably distributes more malware than actual news. They're like, Bleeding Cool is like this shitty Darth Vader that spits out ads instead of, like murdering old co-workers and beating up farm boys. The tagline on it is, Bleeding Cool is more pop-up ad than website, twisted and evil. And then you read this article, and I'll show a couple clips of it, but this article is so one-sided it might as well be autobiographical. I'll put it this way. I have more respect for the journalistic integrity of the Mary Sue than I do Bleeding Cool. Bleeding Cool is disguising itself as a nerd news site when really it's just like a leftist nerd news site. The Mary Sue comes out and says, okay, we're miserable feminists. Everything we write and put out is going to be colored through the lens of a miserable feminist website. And that's what it is. Bleeding Cool has about the same journalistic integrity as CNN covering Hillary Clinton passing out from being too old and on the campaign trail. That's the amount of journalistic integrity that it has. But this article, as you see in here, it's missing some parts. It's probably missing more parts than an AMF Harley. Is that too old? Was that too old of a reference? Okay, you gotta jazz it up for Gen Z. It's missing more parts than an Ubisoft game. How's that? So basically, they refer to, they're pointing out it's Richard Myers. Where's the C, bigot? They're basically pointing out like what he supposedly did, which they say, we said many times. They say, okay, he's harassing minorities and women. When the whole reason why the leftists in comics hate him is because a few years ago, probably about 2 years ago, he was reading comics and he said these comics are shitty. So he started his channel, and it turns out he had a voice, and he and Captain Cummings were two of the first that I got to know. And, they basically, both of them were going, okay, hey, it's 2016. Comic books are friggin' horrible. And they thought it was these leftists out there who were doing it. Well, lo and behold, about 70,000 people agreed with them and follow them on a regular basis and watch their videos. And that's the thing that Mark Waid and all these Dan Slott, that's the thing that they can't stand, is somebody built a very strong channel based on pointing out that their work is very lackluster. It's just the absolute malaise that is in the comic book industry right now. Nobody cares. Nobody puts any effort. That's the funny thing, is that's what drives them crazy about this. But here's a list of all the comic quote unquote pros who are supporting this. And I don't know if by support they just mean they're hitting like, or if they're throwing money. Jamal Eigel's thrown some money at it and whatever. This is a veritable who's that of the comic book industry. All these names, most of these names, I'd say like 90% of these names, I don't even know who the heck they are. But Mags showed up on there. Mark Waid, seriously. I seriously hope you are not taking money from Mags for this lawsuit to just give it to Richard C. Myers, because that would be like me swindling the dude on the corner begging for change. That's Mark. You live in, where do you live? Santa Monica? That's a really expensive place. I've been there. It's really expensive to live there. You live there and you have an exclusive deal with Disney. You're making really good money for the reputation of a comic that you wrote like 20 years ago. Mags's last book shipped 1,400 copies on issue 2. Don't take money from Mags. I gotta throw a penalty flag at you. Don't take money from Mags. Please don't. I guarantee Mags needs that money to pay her 1/6 of the rent, because she shares an apartment with like 5 other people. Yeah, don't take money from her. And Mark Waid, you basically went and got the most expensive. This is like delivery. You're delivering. I think you're going to lose this case, and I think you're just delivering money to Diversity&Comics. You've chosen the most expensive delivery method to take money from you and give it to Diversity&Comics. You chose Mark Zaid to be the intermediary of, and that's why you're doing a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe, is you want Mark Zaid, you're paying Mark Zaid a whole lot of money to give Diversity&Comics a whole lot of money. So, and you know what? Mark Zaid is going to bleed you dry, and he's going to laugh while doing it. Just in the same way you were, putting out half-assed work on the Champions, and you were laughing the whole time when you were cashing those checks. But yeah, this is interesting. I'm interested to see where this GoFundMe goes. I'll be surprised. I'll be honest. I'll be surprised if it makes it. I'll be really surprised if it makes. I think it'll make it about half, but I'll be really surprised if it gets to 70,000. But I'll keep an eye on this. I got another video coming today. It's basically about comic pros saying some stuff about my boys over at Bounding Into Comics. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out. Subscribe to them. They are a really good site. But yeah, go check them out. But that's all I got for that. Oh man, this is gonna be the comic book story of the winter. Is this whole Zaid, Waid, Diversity&Comics thing, and this took a turn that I really didn't think it was going to take. I didn't think Mark Waid, who lives in Santa Monica, I didn't think he would have to do a GoFundMe in order to pay Zaid, in order to pay Diversity&Comics. He could just give the money directly to Diversity&Comics and be done with this. But I don't think Wade's ego will ever allow that to happen. I think this is going to be like a long, bitter fight in courts. Yeah, it's going to be ugly. But stay tuned. It's going to be fun to watch. Thanks for watching. Hit a like, hit a subscribe. What is it, Friday? No new comics out today. But yeah, that's all I got for you. I'll probably do another vid today. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a good day.